Hey Tony, it's Friday, and yes, I'm in a different location because it works. The apartment's kind of messy, Justice isn't feeling well, and everything around me is just kind of, this is a good area here. First off, to answer your question of the week, there's, I think there's one cosplay you might enjoy. I don't know if you ever watched One Piece, but I think you could pull off the three sword pirate guy in One Piece. I think you'd enjoy that. If you haven't watched One Piece, you should. It was good. Like we used to watch at least I used to watch the 4Kids version, which is terrible, and I watched the Adult Swim version, which was better. But I think you might like it. It's kind of fun, kind of a fun little series, and it's about pirates, so that's a pretty cool thing as well. So what I want to talk about this week is something a little bit different than I originally had planned, because this week kind of I had a moment, for lack of a better term. So I want to talk about body image this week because it's a really important thing that I'm absolutely terrible with, and a lot of other people are too. In fact, I would say most Americans are terrible with it, if not most humans in general. So the main thing with body image is how you think you look and what society says you're expected to look like. So they're like societal images of the ideal body go back for millennia, like go back for as long as we've had written work basically. And the big portion of it was men were supposed to be very strong, very broad-shouldered. Like there was a reason why on a lot of old cave drawings, men were drawn as, for lack of a better term, basically an upside down triangle, because that was how your body was supposed to look. You were supposed to be very broad in the shoulders and chests, being exceptionally strong, and being thin and built as you go down further. And women were basically the opposite. They were supposed to, have those big old child rearing hips, everything like that. But society itself has always had issues with body image and has always had an ideal body. Like, very much in modern day body image is different than it was a few hundred years ago. Because a few hundred years ago, men wanted to be a little thicker because it means you could feed your family better. And women were also supposed to, be very much able to bear children. Well, modern body image is a little bit different. Men's hasn't changed too much, except for the fact that you don't want to be bigger. You want to just be very strong, very muscular, and you want to have like a perfect tone. Whereas women need to be, rail thin and shapely. And quite frankly, both of those ideal images are almost physically impossible and are almost unhealthy, depending on how you go about it. Now, for a bit more personal look at it, I myself have always had issues with the way I look. And that maintains true very much to this day. Because when I was younger, as a kid, I was absolutely rail thin, and I was not strong in the slightest. I was always pretty weak, and I always felt really terrible about that, being so skinny and so not strong and not built. As I've gotten older, it's shifted a little bit. Like, I'll just compare to my body image now to how I was way back when. Right now, I hate the way I look as well, because I think that I'm still not strong enough, I'm not skinny enough, and I feel that through law school I let myself go. And I mean, there's a certain degree of truth to that. I did gain a lot of weight in law school. Now I've shifted that weight to be a more healthy weight. It's more muscle mass now and less fat, like it was after 1L year. But it still doesn't help and still kind of impacts me like right now. Like, I think Taylor and Justice yelled at me this past week because I had a moment earlier in the week when I was like, no, I hate the way I look. I shouldn't look like this. I need to be stronger. I need to be built like this. And I pulled a picture of two actors that I really like, and I'm like, this is the body that I want. This is the body I should have. And I still think that.
Unrealistic.
Yeah, Justice and Taylor think it's unrealistic, and it is, but it's still the way we, as Americans, look at body image is still it's unhealthy, thoroughly unhealthy, because the ideal body image is not healthy, it's unsustainable, and it requires a crazy amount of like focus, razor thin focus, and you have to exhaust all of your options in order to go with this one set. And that's just not realistic. We are humans, we're Americans, we work a lot. Americans sit a lot as is. Now, I'm fairly active, but it's still, I sit more than a lot of people, in Hollywood can. And we don't have coaches, trainers, dietitians, everything to make sure you have that exact body type. But it's still the culture around you impacts the way you think of yourself, impacts the way you look at yourself, it impacts what you think you should be and how you think you should be. It's something that is really hard to fight because cultural osmosis is a serious thing. And even just like you look at any amounts of media around you, like go to the supermarket, look at all of the tabloids. It's like, oh, lose 50 pounds in 2 weeks in a healthy way. Look like this person here who works out several hours a day and has a razor-focused diet given to them by a nutritionist. And it's all unhealthy, and it helps create a group of people who don't like the way they look, and that causes self-esteem issues, and it just goes downhill from there. So Tony, my question for you is, as far as body image goes, do you have issues with it? Tony, I'll see you on Tuesday. Later, bro.